Yes. Welcome everyone back to another stream. Some more transfer news. It's been a day filled with transfer news today. I'm here with Hugh. Hugh LB's gone out and that, and Hugh obviously stepping in like a big Donny.
That's what I do, man. That's what I do.
What I do. Yeah, so we're gonna just chat shit about Declan Rice for a bit, see what the situation is. And we'll figure out kind of if Man City should sign him or not. Obviously, there's hefty price tags going out, but here's someone that we have been linked with. First thing first, make sure you like stream, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I guess the first question is, do you want Declan Rice, bro?
I go back and forth. I go back and forth on what midfielders that I want all the time. I can never fully decide and come to a combination. I know that LB says he wants Madison and he wants Kovacic, I think are the two. He said he'd be quite happy with.
I said before in the previous stream, I said that I think our summer will be Kovacic and Madison. I said I think they're the midfielders that we'll get in the summer.
You know what? I was thinking about the Kovacic thing, and for some reason, I think he's going to Bayern Munich. For some reason, I just feel like he's going to Bayern Munich. I saw some links that Bayern are interested in. I don't know. I know he likes Chelsea. He's had a very good run at Chelsea. Would he come to a direct Premier League title rival after leaving Chelsea? I'm not too sure. And his agent could be using the City link to try and bump up in.
As everyone does.
Yeah, as they all do. It's tactical. I'm not sure. I would like Kovacic. I think Kovacic is fantastic. I'm not sure he'd make the move. If he would, fantastic. With Declan Rice, he's a player I rate. I definitely rate Declan Rice, and I think because he's versatile, he's someone that would appeal to Pep Guardiola. As we know, he could do a very good job in the six. He's done it at international level. He can go forward as kind of a number 8 and do almost similar to what John Stones does in the way he can defend and attack at the same time, but just not probably as good as John Stones quite yet because John Stones is class. But he would definitely appeal to Pep. I don't know how long. Do you know how long is left in his contract? Is it 2 years?
Oh, let me check that now.
I don't think it's long, man, because people aren't saying crazy prices. I know, like a year ago, it was like people were saying, "Oh, if you want Rice, you're gonna have to pay like 120 million."
24 expires next year.
Yeah, you could probably get him a good price.
Oh, but this says contract option. The club have an option for a further year, but I don't know if that's a thing.
I think Rice, man. I think Rice, if he has aspirations, he's gonna want to move. He's gonna want to move out of West Ham. He's gonna want to move. I have a feeling it has Arsenal written all over. Arsenal fans that I interact with on a daily basis on the rival shows that I do, a lot of them seem to believe Rice is coming to Arsenal. I'm not up to date with Arsenal ITKs and all that kind of thing, but they seem to believe that whether the Declan Rice is Arsenal bound. You know, Thomas Partey's aging. El Neni is not. He's not Premier League challenging standard. Declan Rice seems like an obvious fit to go in there and rotate with Thomas Partey or take Thomas Partey's place possibly because Partey's not been delivering the goods for the last month or two, at least it's fair to say. I like him. I just don't know. I mean, there's other players I'd like more. Obviously, you lot in the chat will know I'm a big Jude Bellingham guy. I'm a hey Jude kind of guy. I need a bit of Jude in my life, and don't sleep on that. All I'm saying is do not sleep on the Bellingham saga. It ain't over yet. As KSI says, it's not over yet. I've got a good feeling about it. Got a good feeling about it.
Guy, I mean, you're him madness, isn't it? You and him madness are the same person, man. You're still gassing it. I've kind of cooled down on the Jude. I know it's not over yet, but it's not over yet. I can't believe you just dropped that. Like, that was so good, right? That I genuinely think we're gonna get copyright strikes for that little bit. Yeah. That's how perfect that was.
HSI, man, QSI, you know. HSI.
Yeah, I ain't sure me about the Jude Bellingham thing. I kind of the life out of me for that deal is gone. So I'm kind of just looking at alternatives. I know obviously we spoke about Kovacic, we spoke about Madison in the stream before as potentials for that. And I know Declan Rice is more of, he can play the Gundo kind of role, but I think he'd play more in that Calvin Phillips / John Stones role. I think, because he's played centre-back before, right?
Declan Rice.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got like centre-back genes in him. I mean, I'm sure he's like it's basically it's a position that he can occupy.
And any very good number 6 can also slot into centre half.
Yeah, and I think he'll do that well. Here's the thing: there's the price for me. The price for me is very, 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 very heavy. The fact that they want £120 million for him, and if this extra year for a thing is a thing, like
they want 120 M's from him.
Yeah, 120 mil they want.
Nah, I don't need that, man. So they want Jude money for Declan Rice.
Yeah.
No, crazy, end the stream. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. You know, no. If you could tell me you can have Declan Rice for 80 million, I'd be like, you know what, it's worth exploring. But you have to think, Declan Rice is clearly a player who's really good, and I think under a better manager and in a better team, he probably has more in the tank. He probably has more developing and growth to do. I think under a top manager, he could become a really, really top number 6. Does he want to come to Manchester City the same way Calvin Phillips has, and immediately start as secondary to Rodri?
Choice, yeah. Whereas if he was to go somewhere like Arsenal, it wouldn't be second choice. He'd go straight in.
Declan Rice needs to go somewhere. He's an England international. He's well established now at a top level. He just needs to get that extra step. He needs to go somewhere where he is the number 6, like he is the holding midfielder. I mean, that's probably why the Enzo Fernandez deal to Chelsea probably stunted any possibility of him going back to Chelsea. Remember, for a long time, people thought Declan Rice was bound for Chelsea again.
Yeah.
But them bringing in Enzo and half of South America probably didn't help him in his quest for that. So it just seems to me like Arsenal, who are under Edu, who's clearly now more involved than he ever has been, and he's making some good signings, and they're clearly on a good trajectory.
Yeah,
they've got a good
path is good for them right now.
The path, I'll give them credit, man. They're on a good journey. It seems like Declan Rice, he fits in that age bracket. He fits in with the potential trajectory. I think it has Arsenal written all over it. But where does that leave us? Because we definitely do need some midfield backup.
Yeah. We need
whether it's a holding mid, whether it's an 8, whether it's someone who can do both. We need some, because we're going to lose Bernardo and Gundo, or at least one. 100% at least one is leaving this summer. I mean, so what are we left with?
Well, we're left with Phillips. We have the guy in the club. We have the guy in the club, innit? He's your guy, innit? You know what I mean? He's your guy, innit?
I've been adamant that we're probably stressing over the midfield a little bit too much, because we feel like Calvin Phillips has absolutely no chance. Like, if Calvin Phillips was the Calvin Phillips of, say, England Euro 2020 campaign, and immediately we saw that from the get-go at Manchester City, we wouldn't be stressing as much, because we'd be like, oh, we have this sick player in Calvin Phillips who can do 6 and 8 and he can slot in. It's only because he hasn't hit the ground running and there's an uncertainty about his future, we're kind of going, oh, we're not sure. I felt I would have been happy with just Jude Bellingham and give Calvin Phillips the chance, and bring in someone like Gabriel Vega or one of these young up-and-coming players. But I don't know. It kind of hinges. Quite a lot of it actually hinges on Calvin Phillips.
Yeah. So with the Calvin Phillips thing, I think Phillips would be happy to stay another year and try and like get into the side and stuff. It's just whether City are willing to take that risk for another year. If say West Ham come to City and like, yo, give us 50 million in Calvin Phillips for Declan Rice, do you take it?
I mean, in theory, yes, because you are getting a better player who's been in form more recently.
How much cash would be too much with Calvin Phillips in the deal?
Listen, Calvin Phillips, I'd say Calvin Phillips on 30 million. I'm going no more than that. We are forgetting that Calvin Phillips, when he's fit and he's been consistently playing, granted, it hasn't been at Manchester City yet, but at Leeds and in England, he was a top player. And it's not as if we're talking about a 33, 34-year-old who probably won't get back to his best again. He's just had a really unfortunate year, and I do feel for him in that sense. So I want to give him the opportunity to go again.
See, I'm not saying I want him to have the opportunity next season to try and go again. I think I backed him when we signed him, and I backed him because I generally thought he could do bits in this City side. I still feel like he could do bits in this City side if he can just. I feel like it's just taking him a long time to adjust. I mean,
the injury at the Barcelona game way back in preseason didn't help at all.
No favours. Had to go for shoulder surgery. No favours. I mean, everything's kind of like been dampening his career at City. So I feel like a lot of fans are just ready to get rid of him. Whereas I don't really feel like he's had a proper chance yet. But then again, he mustn't be doing things in training that's giving Pep the confidence yet. But at the same time, we're not in a position where we can just be like rotating players like that. We're in a position at the end of the season where like it's like tight as anything.
At this stage of the season, like you need to have your 11 established, and they need to take to the pitch pretty well twice a week, regardless of the situation, because they need to win all the games. So with Calvin Phillips, it's just one of those things. But he's made enough noise in the last 2 weeks alone. Calvin Phillips has said he wants to stay, he wants to fight for his place. Pep has said he's always ready and all this kind of thing. You need to earn my trust, and maybe that's one of those things. But I'm never ready to throw in the towel on any City player under Pep Guardiola after one season. We've seen it far too often. A player comes in and they don't look special. I'll reference it again, like I have done in this conversation so many times. Rodri used to wreck my head. In his first season or two, I'd nearly go as far as to say 2 seasons, Rodri wasn't great at all. First season, I didn't know what he was at. Second season,
I remember that people were worried about Rodri, saying like, "Yo, he's not it. He can't replace Fernandinho," and people were sweating. But
people seem to forget that the Rodri we see now slamming it week in, week out is far from the Rodri we got from Atletico 3 years ago. So, even Jack Grealish, and the progression he's made within a year. Mahrez in his first year, we thought we were getting this winger that Leicester City had that tore up the Premier League. Took him a year to get used to it. Bernardo wasn't the same Bernardo we got from Monaco. Gundogan took a little while to come from Dortmund. So many players arrive at the club, and it takes a little period. That's probably why, we finished 3rd or 4th, whatever it was, in Pep's first season, because all these players are going through a culture shock at once, and it doesn't click. So Calvin Phillips, I'm not ready to say he's an exception to that. He's just not good enough. No, we haven't fucking seen it. But
I don't think he's had a fair chance yet.
No, I know. And unfortunately, he's not going to get a fair chance until next season. So he's going to have to put in a sick preseason. He's going to have to get really fit over preseason, work really hard, play in the preseason games, and earn some chances early doors next season. But that's Calvin Phillips. But we definitely do need some midfield signings. And something I saw today was that City are showing more interest than they have done all season in a buyback on Romeo Lavia.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring this up. That was my next point, is Romeo Lavia. Obviously, Southampton on the ropes. They're pretty much on the verge of relegation now.
They're gone, man. They're gone.
They're going to get relegated, 100%. They're on the verge of relegation, and a player like Romeo Lavia, you're definitely going to get off. He's definitely going to get off. He's not going to stay there. So should City be looking at that? Should City be looking at that and just say, like, obviously we don't have that £40 million buyback. That's the only issue. We have that next season, not this season, or not this summer coming up. It's the next summer. But could City not just turn to Southampton and say, here's the 40 mil for that buyback? Like, bid 40 mil basically for Lavia.
I'm really impressed.
The buyback money, isn't it? I'm impressed with him. I think he's sick. He played really well against Arsenal. He looked mint. For some reason, they took him off. Yeah.
The thing is, I made a point on Lavia a few months ago to you guys. I said, he hasn't set the world on fire. He's not one of those players that I go, wow, he's been, he's world class. It's just, he's been consistently playing well for a crap team. And that takes some doing, when you play for a really bad team, it's like the likelihood is your good players in that team will get infected by the shit players, and they don't play well as well. I see it with Casemiro now at the minute. The United bottle job DNA seemed to have infected him, and he's not playing well for a few weeks for Man United. Lavia has been an exception to that. He's played consistently well with this Southampton team, consistently going under demise. So that's quite an impressive show of character. And there's clearly quite a lot of attributes and assets to Romeo Lavia that are quite appealing for us, because he would fit in like a glove. There should be no adaptation period for Romeo Lavia. He grew up in our system.
Yeah,
he should be able to come back to our team and be like, this is what I was doing all along. This feels perfectly normal. It should feel more normal for him coming back to City than it has done playing for Southampton all this season. So it's quite attractive. How about this for an idea? You do bring back Romeo Lavia, so you have a number 6 cover, but you also tell Calvin Phillips you're going to get opportunities too.
You're basically saying to them to battle it out.
Yeah.
Lavia and Phillips battle it out, mate, because Rodri's got number 1 spot. It's up to you two to fill in that gap.
It's healthy competition, man. It's healthy competition. And you will sell one of Lavia or Phillips the following summer, no problem.
Yeah. And as well, You've got we don't get into the situation that we find ourselves in this year where you have to ham out Rodri every single game, because surely both Lavia and Calvin Phillips aren't going to have a disastrous year. Surely you'd think one of them would step up.
Also, both of them I would like to think could possibly play as a number 8 if needed be.
Yeah, if needed, they could switch it up. Yeah,
it's depth, man. It's depth, and you're not missing out on a huge amount. Like we're always talking about the war chest we have full of cash that we never seem to spend too much of, and we always end up in a surplus anyway. So it's an option I would definitely consider. It's an option I would consider before going near Declan Rice.
Yeah, I agree. Before going anywhere near the kind of money that they want and Declan Rice, I'd definitely be looking at something like a Lavia deal first, and maybe keeping Calvin Phillips as well. C1 in the chat has put apparently he thinks we have first refusal for this summer for Lavia, which I think would be very, very good. I know we do have a buyback on the next year, but first refusal this year is good, because it means that if anyone does bid for him, it's got to come to it. They're basically they're going to come to sit and say, look, these are bid for us. Do you want to match that?
I thought that was 2024.
No, that's the buyback in 2024. So we have we have a £40 million buyback in 2024. Whereas this year, it could be a first refusal thing.
So will we have to negotiate this summer?
Yeah, we'll have to negotiate this summer.
Yeah, see, he is going to have his suitors. He is going to have his suitors. There could be a bidding war. There could be a bidding war there for the same way there will be a bidding war.
Look at Chelsea in the same window that Southampton signed Lavia, bid £50 million for Lavia, even though they'd only just signed him.
But does he want to go there with Enzo Fernandez there?
No, I think he'd prefer City. He grew up in City's system. I think he'd be buzzing to play for Man City. But it's just whether he gets there. That's the fact. If the release clause was this year, make everything so not release clause. Yeah, the buyback was this year. It'd make everything so much easier, because they're getting relegated anyway. We activate our £40 million buyback, you're gonna got Romeo Lavia like that easy. But because it's in 2024, it's a bit of a rip, man. It's just a weird one. But
we could have done without Southampton getting relegated.
Yeah, definitely. But even so, I'd still definitely be looking at Lavia and seeing if he would want to come back to City and look at a way that we could potentially get that deal over the line. I'd be looking at that. Yeah. I'd be looking at that first before Declan Rice. But as we keep hearing, there are links to Declan Rice that say that City want him.
I just don't understand. That must mean that they've given up on Calvin Phillips.
I mean, we heard in January that basically City are kind of on the verge of calling it with Phillips. Kind of like a bit. Don't think you can make it, because he has been fit for a while now, and the only reason he's not playing as much football as the other players is because, like, if you look at like Laporte, he's out of favour, whereas I look at Calvin Phillips, he's not liked. He's not getting the system apparently. Yeah, like the system is a very big issue for him, so that's why he can't get put in. I think Pep basically wants him to do what John Stones does. I think he wants him to play that John Stones role, like that kind of next to Rodri kind of thing, and then all of you. Yeah, I think that's what he'd want him to do, but then I just don't think he gets it, man. Like,
well, when you break it down and if you watched Calvin Phillips before he came to City, his best attributes were, first of all, his engine. He never stopped running. He was always up and down the pitch, like a marathon runner. And to do that kind of role, you need to be up and down the pitch non-stop. You are literally box to box for 90 minutes is what John Stones does. And then distribution. Your ball distribution needs to be really good. And Calvin Phillips, when he was at his best, was really neat, really tidy. He could spray the ball around, and he was a composer. He had a very composed kind of demeanor. But I know I said that it takes a year or so for some players to adapt, but maybe Pep just feels there won't be an adapting for Calvin Phillips. Maybe he just won't adapt.
Maybe he just thinks that it's too far gone. Like with the progression that's gone on over this past year, maybe he just thinks he won't get it, and they're not willing to risk another year without Rodri having someone. But then what's to say that we go get Declan Rice and he doesn't struggle for the first year?
Well, this is it, man. I mean, Declan Rice, like, we didn't appreciate enough when Jack Grealish moved from Aston Villa the physical and mental demands from playing for Aston Villa to quadruple challenging every season Man City it's a landslide of a difference. The contrast is outrageous. So for Declan Rice, whilst he is a fantastic footballer, I've absolutely no doubt, it's going to be a culture shock and a culture change for him in some shape or form, however big or small, to go from playing for West Ham, where your priority essentially every season is don't get the drop, and whatever you can get above that after that, it's fantastic. We'll see what we can do. When we get European football, if we do very well. If we get mid-table, it is what it is. Don't get the drop. So him to have to come to Manchester City and be told, right, you must win every single game you play. And if you don't win every single game you play, your place in the team is in question, and your place in the club is in question if it goes on for any longer than we're quite happy with. It's more ruthless. We know Pep holds no room for, first of all, sentimentality, and he's not too worried about anybody's feelings. He'll do what will get him the win. So for Declan Rice, there's no guarantee he comes in and it just works for him. It just clicks straight away, and it's happy days. So
it's a risk.
I mean, with Lavia, he knows all this. That's why Lavia is even more appealing again. Lavia understands all this. He was brought through a system as a teenager of you must win every game. You are being bred through an academy to eventually play for a team where you must win every game. That's why the likes of Rico Lewis look so comfortable. He looks so natural. So it doesn't bother him playing for our first team. He just fits in like a glove because he understands what the whole thing is about from the time he was 8 years old. So with these players coming from your West Hams, your Villas, your Leeds, there's never a guarantee.
Do you think if we keep Phillips,
I think we will.
I do think, by the way, I think Phillips stays. If we were to keep Phillips, and we go sign someone like Lavia, because Rice is a big risk, as you just highlighted, big there. It is a risk. It's no guarantee that he comes here and works. And for the money that is behind that deal is heavy. Do you think that if we sign Lavia, Phillips would stay or want to stay? He might be like, nah, I'm not about this life. Like,
I think at that stage it's a massive test of his character. It's Man City saying, right, we know you had a tough season last season. We want to give you further opportunity, but we haven't seen enough.
Yeah, he's basically just got to back himself, innit? He has to just back himself to get it right.
Look, if you want it, you'll knuckle down and you'll make it happen for yourself. I mean, we're not gonna give you another whole season now where we're not sure if you're gonna last the pace of the season or you're gonna be.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, fucking hell, man.
Is it power cut?
No. The Ethernet cable just fucking died out. I just had to rapidly switch the Ethernet cable. I think the stream's gone anyway.
It has, yeah. Well, they're still in the chat.
Let's go live. Is it not still there, the stream? Oh, wait, we are talking. Oh, wait, we might be back.
No, I've got it up here.
Spam this emoji. We are back.
Are we?
Ah, yeah, we are back. I saved it. Yo. 1-0 Seville. No way. We are back. No way. If you want to know what happened, Ethernet cables died on me.
Yeah, man. It couldn't handle the facts. It couldn't handle the facts
that you're spitting too much, innit? Ethernet cable wants Declan Rice. Anyway, he had enough, innit? I just had to rapid swap a Ethernet cable there. You know what? I should have noticed that. I did it yesterday and I was like, oh, that was a bit weird.
Apologies, people. Apologies
for the quick dip. Super chats. Obey with a 2 said perfect time. Go and get some Burger King. Yes, obeyed, mate. Sorry, I did see that before, but then I completely forgot. And also, City all the way with a 10 said, why should we have to pay so much for Rice? Real Madrid have got Casemiro for €3 million and used him for nearly 8 years, sold him for 75 million. We should do the same, and Rice is overpriced. The issue is, who are we going to go get for 3 mil?
Well, it's funny.
We don't get anyone, and we already have the person in the club.
That's what I'm saying, man. There could be a gem that we don't know about.
Yes, Denver, all the oil money can't get good internet. I have mint internet. I just can't get good Ethernet cables, innit?
I'm the one with the dodgy internet usually.
Yeah, City all the way. So it's a difficult on that. But as Denver's in the chat there, obviously an Arsenal fan. Me and Hugh, before we even started this stream, was very on the same page of. I firmly believe that Rice will end up at. He'll end up at Arsenal. I just have that. He seems destined to be Arsenal, man.
Well, I was speaking about the demands, the contrast and demands from going from playing for West Ham to Manchester City. I don't think the demands will be as severe for Declan Rice going to Arsenal. Like, they're not saying they must win the Premier League this season or next season. They're not saying they must win the Champions League when they're only back there for the first time next season. It's still about progression. I know people seem to get very triggered when you hear the word process. Some people don't like it. But unfortunately, process is something that many clubs undertake, even though it may not seem so. So bringing Declan Rice will just be a massive step in their process to getting them to where they eventually want to be. The team is very young, and he would bring in still a fair bit of experience, even though not at the elite level, at club level anyway. So I think it reeks of Declan Rice, and I could see him being a massive force in them eventually getting to, where we've been the last few years and where Liverpool have been as well. So yeah, it seems perfect for them. Declan Rice.
It does seem destined to be. I did a poll before. What should City do? Sign Rice, keep Phillips, or look elsewhere? I thought look elsewhere might be up, but keep Phillips is actually taking a lead on 39%. So the majority of people here want to keep Phillips rather than sign Rice. Which is where I stand as well. I stand at that same point. That's
me, man. That's me. Keep Phillips. But I would be open to the suggestion of bringing in Lavia as well and saying, listen, have a dogfight. May the best man win.
I agree with that. Fan time, yes, with the 3 months, says Peroni. Can't forget our best player. SMTH. What does SMTH mean, bro? Maybe you meant SMH. SMH is shaking my head, isn't it? I don't know what SMTH is. It's shaking my tall head. But
shaking my tiny head. You got a small head, bro?
Yeah, Phantom, mate. You got a tiny head or something? Oh, wait. No, yeah. Tiny head. Pause. Yeah.
Looks sick.
Yeah. Nah. SMTH mean something, pretty sure. Oh, it means something. Okay, can't forget our best player, something.
Hey, yo, listen, just tell us in the chat, man. I'm not playing this game.
Yeah, I ain't playing this game, innit? I don't think Phantom's even in. I've not seen him in the chat for a bit now. It might have died off when the stream died. Anyway, I think it's Calvin Phillips season for another year. I think getting Lavia in would suit us. I think because it gives us a bit more depth. And also, if Phillips does bin it, at least we've got a bit of a backup there. And obviously, if they can it's a dogfight for them too, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I think as far as the defensive midfield role goes, that's what I'm saying. Buy the Calvin Phillips stocks while they're low. I'm telling you, get behind this guy, because why not? He's at the club now. He's shown before he was here he can play football, and he is actually quite decent. So get behind him. But the Romeo Lavia thing, I'm fully game for. I think the question marks lie more so, or the open conversation lies more so with the attacking area of midfield. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Who the hell do we get in? Who the hell do we get in to replace Gundo and possibly Bernardo? That is the big challenge that the lads on the board have in their hands.
Yeah, that's where it lies. And obviously, with there being no links other than Declan Rice, other than Jude Bellingham, it's a weird one. But we'll figure it out. I think we'll get news soon. It's coming to the end of the season, so talks will be going on. With these players, just all under wraps. I think City are keeping a good lid on it this year.
What I will say is, City were 14-1 to get Jude Bellingham about a week ago. The odds have been slashed in half.
Oh, I was gonna put a bet on it as well. I was seeing it at 14-1. I was like, I'm gonna put a 10 on that. And I forgot.
Yeah, listen, I'm not ITK, but I'm telling you, it's not over yet.
HSI. Right, people, it ain't over, but this stream's over. Wait, not yet. Channel YouTube with a 3 month said Rice isn't a good fit. Sell Phillips for free if needed. Lavia or Benassa, please. Hughie's the best advocate for average players. JK Hugh, you know I love you.
Come on, man. I bigged up Jack Grealish. Look at him now. He's one of our best players this season.
Facts. I don't know if channel YouTube likes Jack Grealish or not, though. I can't remember. Yes, channel YouTube, mate. Big up for the 3 months. Right. HSI. It's time to go in. You can catch the world famous HSI over on the Big Six tonight. What time is it on? 10 o'clock.
Yeah, 10 bells.
So go support Hugh on a big six later on, innit? You know what I mean? Basically, when to support Hugh, this is the new like Hugh thing. So in the emojis, there's an emoji where it's like this, yeah. It's like this. That is it. I want everyone, right? If you're here and you're planning on watching the Big Six, I want you lot to all be spamming this emoji in that chat.
it's our like Morse code.
It's our Morse code of how we,
way.
do you know what I mean? The internal Morse code, isn't it? So make sure you all be spamming that chat. In fact, for people in the chat now, you should all be doing it now, innit? Why not even doing it now?
Crosses for the boys, man. Crosses for the boys.
I don't even know how you do it. I don't even know what it's called, man. What is it?
Cross. Just type in cross.
I typed in cross. Oh, channel YouTube to see. I do like Jack. Have his number. Man's got Jack Grealish's number.
Hey, yo, DM me, bro.
Yeah, yo, can we get a bit of that? There we go. I can see him in the chat. Hey, what is that called?
Yeah. Cross, innit? I typed in cross.
Oh, I've just copied and pasted someone else's. Right, there you go. Have that.
Yeah.
That's the one you need. Right, that can see you out. I want to see them tonight on the Big Six. Big up everyone. Make sure you like the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll be back live tomorrow with some more content. And yeah, have a good night. And we'll see you in a bit.
In a bit.